Hey, what's up, Climber Nation? Patrick here. So today we're taking a look at side cuts or kerf cuts or wing cuts or whatever you want to call them. We're going to look at what this concept is and why we use it and when and why it's important. All right, so I'm just going to pause it there. So the basic idea of the side cut is that after you have made your face cut, but before you make your back cut, you just want to scribe a couple of shallow cuts on either side of the stem directly below where your hinge wood is going to be, right? So these cuts need to go through the bark and just into the cambium or the sapwood. That's the basic concept, okay? There's a nice black walnut. All right, so here's another look at a different one. So the basic reason why you want to make your side cuts is there's lots of factors that go into this, but basically in certain situations, as a top comes over, once the face closes, the sapwood or the bark on either side of the hinge can actually hold on longer than it should, and it can tear downwards, and that tearing and holding on can be enough to change the direction of a top. As it comes over, it can actually end up going in a different direction than you intended, okay? So that's why these side cuts are so important. And this is a fairly unpredictable thing. There's lots of factors that go into it. A major one is species. So this example here you see is a black walnut. Around this area, at least in my experience, black walnut is really prone to this tearing that I'm talking about. Softwoods are also very prone, like spruce trees are pretty prone to this kind of tearing. The time of year can be a factor. So, you know, in the springtime, like depending on where you live, in the springtime or the fall, when the sap is running up and down on the outer layers of the cambium, that can play a role in whether or not a top would pull hard to one side. Also, whether the tree is alive or dead. I mean, a dead tree is far less likely for this to be an issue than a live tree. Okay, so there's lots of factors that go into this. This is just what I would consider a really good habit to be in, or a best practice, okay? So here's a big sugar maple top. You can see I make my face cut, and then I make my side cuts, and then my back cut, right? So here's a more typical size top around these parts. This is a Manitoba maple or a box elder. So I make my face cut, a couple of shallow side cuts, and then back cut, okay? And then get showered with dead branches. All right, so I don't only use it for topping. I also use it for felling, especially with softwood trees. So here's a white pine. I need the aim to be exact. I don't want to take branches off of any of the other trees on either side of it. So face cut, side cuts, back cut. All right. So hopefully that makes sense so far.
Like a glove.
All right, so we've looked at a few examples where I made my side cuts. Now let's look at an example where I did not. Okay, so this is a spruce tree. This is the last top on a spruce. I'm in the bucket truck. I want to just free fall this top directly into the front yard and have it land flat, okay? But for whatever reason, I didn't make my side cuts, all right? Ooh, brutal. Slow motion. Wow. So you can see once the face closes, it pulls hard to the left, right? Left, right.
Fuck me. Oh my god.
Ugh, that could have been so much worse. I'm just going to pause it there. So you can see in my left hand, I'm holding this little strip of sapwood. Okay, so again, once the face closes on a top, the only thing that's guiding it at that point is gravity, right? But in this case, you also had this little strip of sapwood that was holding it. And you can see it starts to come over, it gets about 45 degrees, and then it pulls hard to the left. Okay, and this does two things, right? Number one, it pulls the top in a direction that I didn't want it to go, so it changes the aim. But number two, it also causes it to hold on to the stump much longer than it should have, which causes it to land on the tips and then allows the butt end to just spring back in an unpredictable direction, okay? So it's just a bad deal all around, right? So again, I want to make sure that you guys understand, I'm not suggesting that if you don't make your side cuts, that something bad is going to happen when you're taking a top. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is a really good habit to get into, okay?
That wasn't a Dutchman, that was Bart. I didn't do the side cut.
That was like that video. It was going like here and then
It was going here and then it ended up over here.
Oh, brutal, brutal. So again, that could have been so much worse. Anyway, hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Hopefully you can get some value out of this. And, you know, again, just try and get in the habit of making your side cuts. It's highly recommended, all right? So, listen, while I have you guys here, why don't we just go ahead and watch another one? We could watch this one, or this one, this one. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Listen, I really appreciate you guys watching Educated Climber videos. This has just been amazing. So thank you guys so much. Patrick, out.